Hello, my name is Madeline Farrell, and for my Cultural Plunge, I spent a day at Oak Creek Community in Killeen, Texas. Oak Creek Academy is an inclusion private school from pre-K through grade 12, but they enroll students aged 6 months to 21 years old. The Academy is a non-graded, non-leveled, skills-based school that addresses the learning needs of all students by using individualized, differentiated instructional methods. There are 3 sides of the school: the private school, where students receive academic instruction appropriate for their age and skill level; the Child Development Center, where they have a daycare program and students work with ABA tutors to address skills that have been identified in an IEP; and the therapy branch, where Kids Therapies and Elite Therapy Center offer speech, occupational, physical, and behavioral therapy. I went during their kids camp, so the students have activities scheduled throughout the day but are pulled out for their therapy at the usual times. While the school allows any student to enroll, most of the students at the school have been diagnosed with a learning disability. This experience affected me as an individual by forcing me to reflect on how I address this population of students in my class. As a public school teacher, I felt bad after leaving the school because I realized just how non-inclusive my classroom really is. It's nothing I have done intentionally, but because the focus in public school is to teach specific TEKs that will ultimately culminate to one test, oftentimes we're not focused on the individual success of students with special needs. While I was at the school, I felt very welcomed. I worked alongside some of the ABA tutors at the kids camp. The tutors treated me like I was one of them, and when I was working with a student, they would help me out or step in if I was over my head. We worked with the students mainly with social skills and attention-seeking behaviors, but throughout the day, some of the students would be pulled out of class for their therapy sessions. The principal, Tracy Hansen, actually spent most of the day with me, so I ended up having access to a lot more of the different therapy sessions than I had originally thought, and I was even able to work with some of the students during their pull-out time in the physical therapy room. When I created this Cultural Plunge, I wanted to know how the culture of a school, including the teachers and students, is affected when there is a high population of students with special needs, specifically students that are placed somewhere on the autism spectrum. Students with autism are very diverse and can require very different instruction. Skills-based inclusion classes for such a diverse group of students with so many different needs seems too good to be true, but the group of teachers and therapists at this school are doing it, and they are doing it well. The first thing that I learned about the culture of this group of students and teachers is that they have a very different definition of what success means. Success in public school is data-driven, but at this school they are focused on little things like washing your hands after you go to the bathroom or making eye contact when speaking. I noticed myself thinking, oh, well that's a little silly. But at the end of the day, the skills they are working on allow students to live, for lack of a better word, a normal life. Going into this experience, I knew that Oak Creek Community was like a hub of different therapy companies all housed in the same place. So I thought that the school would be divided based on what each group was doing. What I found was that the group was very united. The physical therapists, speech therapists, and tutors were all working together even though they are employed by different entities. They are also very highly aware of what is going on in the lives of all of the students, not just the ones that they see. This experience impacted the way I view my own culture, specifically in terms of what I believe is normal. I would definitely say I live a very normal and boring life, but for students and families at Oak Creek Academy, that means something completely different. Oftentimes, learning disabilities are seen as a death sentence for people who don't live with them every day. But the people that I spent time with at Oak Creek Academy showed me these students are normal. They just show it in a different way, but can be just as successful as anyone else. This experience has changed the way I teach because I feel as though I will be more in tune with the needs of my students with learning disabilities. Moving forward, I would like to adapt my lesson plans to focus on non-academic skills as well, including behavioral, speech, and social skills. As for how I interact with my colleagues, I would like to see if we can become more of a united front. I think students, even general education students, would benefit from working with a group of teachers that act and work like a team.